I want to push it over to our final topic.
Yeah, boy.
This is going to be one of our meatier subjects right here.
Okay.
It all derives from a tweet.
Yeah.
A Mike Diver, who is a head of content at Gaming Bible, said, "Reminder, you don't need to be good at games to write about them or stream them or
True.
even make them.
True.
You don't need to finish a game to review it, to publish an opinion and score. Most of the time, we don't get the time."
No.
Categorically incorrect, sir. Like you said,
had me in the first half.
First half was fine.
Yeah. I totally agree. You don't need to be good at games. Look, you can be shit at games and incredibly funny and entertaining. Stream it all you want.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy the game. Slap it on easy and just have a great time. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, go for it. Games devs, notoriously not very good at gaming.
Yeah.
Who cares? You're telling a story. But you absolutely need to have finished the game to give it a score.
Especially if you are a professional reviewer being paid to do so. This is your job to inform others of what this game is like. So then they can go and spend their money on things. That is what your audience deserves.
Yeah.
It deserves for you to finish the game so you can give an accurate representation. How many games are there that you've played? I'll say it right now. Days Gone, when I first tried it, I was like, there's some things in the end.
Yeah.
But in the end, it picks up and it gets so much better. And it turns out it's an amazing game.
Yeah.
If you don't get to that second part, if you don't get to that end part, then
bad.
You're like, well, this is a 2 out of 10 game, and you get what Jeff Grubb did, and he said Returnal's a 5 out of 10, where everyone else is like, oh, it's a 9 or 10 out of 10.
If you don't get to end, you never get to the payoff. Then you can't be like, look, it's slow in the beginning, but it pays off so well. You never get there.
You miss out on all of those opportunities.
Yeah, it's stupid.
And then it goes back to the fact that you're being paid to play this game, to review it. This is your job. You don't want to do the job,
worse.
And therefore you're trying to make this a normal thing.
I think that's
your
even
laziness.
worse.
You're trying to normalize your laziness.
I think it's even worse than that.
Go on.
Because somebody, I mean, I know this guy's audience is all of 3 people, but one of them is going to spend their hard-earned money on a game that you said was good, or not buy a game that you said was bad, that you didn't even finish, you know? And they're going to miss out on one of the best games of the generation, or they're going to miss out on, they're going to spend their money on a trash tier game.
Yeah.
Right. And worse, spend their money on a trash tier game, not enjoy it, and believe that was a 9 out of 10 game.
Yeah.
Right. That is so atrocious, so awful. And the worst thing is, let's say, as a games reviewer, if we were being paid to do it and we really had a time crunch, you could play it for the first, 5 hours, 10 hours on, let's say, hard or something, whack it down to easy, get through the game and put it back up to your appropriate difficulty at the key moments.
Yeah.
And have had a feel for the gameplay, had a feel for how difficult it was to play, knowing that you dropped the difficulty down to get somewhere, use the difficulty as a tool to get through in a time frame.
Yeah.
But still make the important bits enjoyable and still give a reasonable thing and say the gameplay, the combat's very difficult because you did really play it on that difficulty, but just not in the in-between stuff. That doesn't make sense. Like I would say, because we just did Ghost of Tsushima, the ideal difficulty to play it is hard, in my opinion. For me, that was the most fun to play it. But you don't need to play it on hard for anything other than the boss fights and the duels. Everything else, you can slap it down to easy and just destroy your way through, because the only real difference on the difficulty levels is how long it takes you to do that.
And then in the end, you've played the game, you've experienced it, and you can give your well thought out opinions on it.
Right. Now, if you're doing it for fun, stick it at your ideal difficulty and play it the whole way through. Yeah. That is better. But at least finish the freaking game.
If it's your job, if it's your opinion, you're informing tons of people.
Imagine you don't finish a game like that, or a game like The Last of Us, and you play like the first 4 hours. Imagine you play only the Ellie bit of The Last of Us, and that's the recommendation you give.
You're like, well, Ellie's story is just absolutely fantastic. It's really great, all the stuff that she goes through, and she's really fantastic. She plays all the way. It's great, and that's the end of the review. And it's like, there's a whole second half to this review that's missing.
Right, exactly. Whether you loved
fuck?
or hated the Abby stuff, like if you never get there, what are you doing? How are you going to review What about the storytelling? If you don't finish the game, how do you know how? Like, the story can be brilliant up to a point, and then at the very end lose it all and say, look, it's a brilliant story, but the end is lacking.
Yeah.
You know, and overall, I found it kind of disappointing. Overall, oh my god, the way they tied, I thought the story wasn't very deep, but they tie it together so well at the end. You have to experience this. There's a bunch of games like that.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of games like that. You don't know. You absolutely get
This.
who's just privately tell me his name. I'm going to block that guy.
I think I might have said it out loud already.
Oh, you did? I don't remember.
Mike Diver is the person's name.
I'm going to block him now.
Mike Diver. What I think you're trying to do is you're trying to normalize being lazy.
Yeah, I agree.
It's your if you've decided you want to go into games journalism, if you decide you want to go into reviewing, and you have been given the job, if you've been given
blocked,
the task of reviewing a game, it is your responsibility to your editor, to your publication, to your fans, to the person who is going to be reading the review, that it is accurate, that you have experienced at least the full story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not saying you have to do all the side content, but at least the full story, and then give your informed, educated opinion on that game. You can't say, I've not played the game, but you know what? I give it a 6 out of 10. It's like, because then it means absolutely nothing.
It's ridiculous.
Two things I want to say. One, he goes here. Most of the time, we don't get the time, as in to complete the review and stuff like that. Well, he's talking about at least when reviewers, publishers give the game to them.
Okay.
Sometimes they get given like 2 days before the game comes out.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's in a way to
I beat
mask
The Last of
a
Us in
shitty
that.
game. Yeah. Well, Valhalla, for example, you couldn't be that in 2 days anymore. But sometimes that's to mask a terrible game.
That should be in the review. That I would put in the review.
Exactly. And sometimes it's maybe the game isn't fully ready yet and they wanted to get another patch out so it looks pristine so they get reviewers can play it, and then that's in the review sometimes. But whatever the case may be, that doesn't matter.
No.
If your entire business is dependent on whether or not getting out on the embargo date, which is like before the game comes out, if it's dependent on that, then you have a pretty shitty business right there.
Yeah, for sure.
That you have fans that won't come back to you afterwards to read your review. Angry Joe, he has his own specific types of review. He puts them out 2 weeks after the game comes out because he's decided to make his comedic version, to talk about the game, do that. And people tune in every single time to listen to his name because he makes good reviews of stuff.
Yeah.
The reason why we don't do reviews is because we don't get the access to them early. We don't have the time and resources to do it.
We also take people's time and money really seriously.
Yeah. And we're
Really
like, are we
seriously.
educated enough to make that opinion? We'll give you impressions of what we feel like, and that's because you guys know what our feelings are, and we'll go that way. But that's because we respect you.
Yeah.
This is not respecting people's time. This is not respecting people's money. And also, it means that you have a shitty website. It means you have shitty reviews that nobody cares about. They are like, no, we must put it on day one to get all of the clicks, guys.
But this is
all of the clicks.
Let's say someone does send. It starts to be the case that we start doing reviews and people are sending us games, right? Like James got Valhalla early, stuff like that, right? If it was a case that we had to get a review out, a contractual obligation at a certain date, we would say we've played this much of the game. These are impressions of that part of the game. You should know this game came to us quite late. That doesn't. We can't attribute a motive to that because we don't know, but the game came to us quite late. We have not had time to fully play the game. We've played this much of it, and these are our impressions of that. But we do not know how it ends. Do you know what I mean?
And that shows something that these games journalists lack.
Why would we?
Integrity.
Yeah, why would we not?
You would say at the beginning, we haven't finished the game. It was given to us really late, so it's still in progress. But here's our impressions of the game.
So far, yeah.
If any games journalist was to put that at the top, they know that they're going to lose 50% of the people straight away.
Yep.
They're going to lose all of these clicks. Or someone in the comment section is going to be like, in the tweet, they're going to be like, oh, they didn't finish the game, so disregard it. And that's the reason why they won't say it.
But that's the difference between us and them.
Exactly.
Which is people are here to hear us, and people go to game journals to hear a review.
Exactly.
Not for the game journalists themselves usually, right? Because they don't. Because again, and this is the problem, most of them are journalists who are in gaming, not gamers who do games content or review content, right? So there wouldn't necessarily be an issue for us to start at the beginning and say, you need to know we haven't finished it. It came to us quite late, but these are impressions of the game so far. We've done a bunch of those, and we don't drop any views on like early impressions videos.
No.
And that's the difference. That is the difference. We respect your time, but also we would never say this is actually we would say this is a must buy, but a bunch of times we've said,
but every time we say what we've played,
it's worth the money. We love it so far. Chris was asking me about Ghost of Tsushima on one of the early streams, and I said, look, for me, this is one of the best games ever made. If you dig this stuff, which I know you do, I think you'll enjoy it. But I don't want to tell you how to spend your money. You might not. I think you'd love it. It seems to be the way to go. But I can't tell you what you'd like. I can only tell you what I like and what are things I like about it. I would never tell you how to spend your money or your time, you know.
And similar,
clearly he has trash taste. He's been a super bro since day one.
Exactly.
And our
He
very
likes
first Twitch
us.
tab on twitch.tv/conversations.
I don't know what, he's got no taste whatsoever.
Exactly.
No taste whatsoever. And I did the same with Returnal, where I was like, I haven't played in the first time we did it. I said, I've played 13 hours of the game.
Yep.
This is how far I am. I'm in this boss. I'm in that thing right there. So far, based on what I've played so far, I love this game amazing. I think it's 10 out of 10 so far. It could easily drop it at the end, but it's 10 out of 10 for me so far. That's based on 13 hours. I was very explicit to say what I've
contender
played.
for you at 13 hours so far.
Based on where it's gone. I've played more. It hasn't changed for me. It could still very well change at the end.
Yeah.
But this is where I sit so far. These guys could
Especially
say that at the
Returnal,
beginning.
which is like an RNG heavy game. Like you might get it and it's not good for you, or it's
Exactly.
really great, or it's too easy for you. There's stuff to consider, but we would always say that.
Yeah. But these guys have no integrity, and they just don't. They just don't.
Well, also because they're more worried about their relationship with developers and getting sent the games than they are with their relationship with their audience. And
If we don't say it's good, then what's going to happen next time?
right. Then the next guys won't send it to us. Well, go away then.
Exactly.
Because, again, they have no real audience. The reason people take them seriously is somehow they've positioned themselves as authorities, and so people think when they say something, it's more relevant. But it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. A bunch of these people can't play games.
It's fucking dumb. It's fucking dumb.
So, again, don't trust any games journals. Don't trust any of them.